No,
All right.
laughing.
Sand is poured on a beach, creating a cone whose radius is always equal to twice its height. So when we talked the other day, we talked about how a cylinder's radius or height, one would be changing but not the other. Or we talked about how in a triangle, two sides would change but not the third. In a cone, you can have both the height and the radius changing together. So in this case, it says the radius is always equal to twice the height. So we know that if we have a cone, the radius is always equal to twice the height. So if the height is 1, the radius is 2. If the height is 4, the radius is 8.
That's a weird looking cone. No, if the radius is twice the height, it's going to be short and fat.
Yes. If the sand is poured on at a rate of 20 inches cubed per second, that's my dV/dt. It's being poured on, so it's increasing, so it's positive. How fast is the height changing? So we're looking for dH/dt. At the time, the height is 2 inches, and the height is 6 inches. So we're looking for dH/dt, we know dV/dt, and we have a relationship between radius and height. Exactly.
Well, you're just going to use substitution for that.
Exactly. So we don't want to have R and H in my formula because that would give me dR/dt and dH/dt, and we only need dH/dt. So what we have to do is take the volume of a cone, which is 1/3 the volume of a cylinder.
Well, volume, so it's, isn't the volume of a cylinder 4/3 pi r cubed?
That's a sphere.
The volume of a cylinder is 4 pi r squared.
Pi r squared H. The 4 is the surface area.
Will we get a
sphere.
formula?
Usually you'll get, like, you would get this.
Yeah,
But like, or you would get
I just
like,
need the volume or the surface area.
right, you
Well,
would
I'm
get
saying is
like,
they can't give you like a cylinder and say what's the volume of the cone.
If you take the derivative, you get the area.
it will put like whatever formula you need, usually in parentheses.
So on the
Because
test,
that's even how AP does it. So I follow AP.
I will get that formula right there.
That exact one. I want that handwriting and everything.
All right. If the height's changing at 2 inches, yeah, but the last time you didn't need the formula because it was the surface area.
So you can just take the derivative.
Yes, or you could have drawn a picture. You typically will get volumes, not areas. All right, so here what we need to do is get rid of R because we want to find dH/dt.
Can we just put
So
this as pi r
R
squared h over 3?
Is 2h. So we're going to replace the R.
Can I make this equation pi r squared h over 3?
Yes.
Okay, so that's easier.
So this is 1/3 pi. R gets replaced with 2h squared h. So 2 squared is, yep. So we get 4/3 pi h cubed. Because h squared times h. Now, my volume is in terms of one variable, and it's in terms of the variable we are looking for, the rate of change for. So we're going to say that dV/dt equals 4/3 times 3 pi h squared dh dt. So my 3's cancel, and we get dv dt equals 4 pi h squared dh dt. And we want to know dh dt at the instant when h is 2. And we want to know dh dt at the instant when h is 6. So dh dt is equal to dv dt, which is 20, divided by 4 pi h squared. So in this case, you get 20 divided by 16 pi, which simplifies.
5/4.
And at 6, you get 5/36 pi inches per second.
That would be it.
Yeah, I can't simplify that one. Yeah, I simplified the 20 and the 4, but not 36.
That's a wrap. Nice job, everybody. Call it a day. Right?
No, we have more examples. All right. Car A is traveling west at 50 miles per hour, and car B is traveling north at 60 miles per hour. So let's say this is the center of my compass. Car A is going west, car B is going north. Both are headed. Oh wait, this is the reverse of where I
I
am.
was gonna say.
The next one is out, are going in opposite directions. I should have read that they're headed for the intersection. Okay, so car B is coming from the south towards the intersection. Car A is traveling from the east to the intersection. So they're going to meet at a point. At what rate are the cars approaching each other? When car A is 0.3 miles, so like little a is 0.3, little b is 0.4, so the distance between them
7.
0.12. 0.5.
What?
3, 4, 5
I was thinking,
Oh, I was thinking
Yeah.
distance, because they're not just going to swerve off the road and cut through the trees to get to each other. You know what I mean? Like, I was thinking road distance.
well, Corey, your thinking was wrong.
Well, and this is an reason, there would be no reason for that distance is no application whatsoever.
But there would be every
So
reason.
the ADT, its rate is its speed, which is 50, but is this distance getting bigger or smaller?
Smaller.
So its rate is,
Negative.
and then dBdt So we want to know how fast is the rate between them changing. So if you think about it, the distance as these cars get closer to each other,
DC, DT.
this distance is getting smaller and smaller and smaller until eventually it would be 0 because there's no distance between them.
Hopefully it's not 0.
But we want to know what's the rate of change between them at this particular time period, which is 0.3, 0.4 at 60 and 50.
So we're solving for DC DT.
Yep. Because it's not like the ladder. It's not stagnant. It's changing.
Wouldn't it be 2A?
Remember, in Pythagorean theorem, the 2's always cancel.
Okay.
And because my board is not great for writing, I'm keep skating.
It makes sense.
Okay, so 3 times 5 is
15.
exactly, so 0.3 times negative 50.
1.5. 15.
Negative 1.5.
It's negative.
Hey.
Yeah, calculator.
This is a no calculator problem test.
Exactly. So the reason it's the decimal and the 3 and the 50s, 10 would cancel each other essentially.
So 64.
So like 4 times 6 is
24.
24
Oh, negative 24.
equals negative 1/2 if it helps you to see it this way, dc dt. Because to get rid of this, you can multiply both sides by,
Why is that
2.
2.5?
because it's 0.5.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it positive 0.5?
Yes.
Just saying, if you left it at 2, you would have canceled that. It would have been DC equals something. One whole step going.
Okay, negative 15, negative. Negative 15, negative 24 is negative 39. Negative 39 times 2.
Negative 78.
What was Blaise saying over there?
He said that had I left all the 2's on the Pythagorean theorem, the 2 and the 1/2 would have canceled with each other and made it negative 1. He still had to divide or multiply, or just 1, yeah. It's all good.
Did my mental math wrong.
All right. Are we okay with that?
I still don't see the reason for knowing the distance between them straight line wise.
It wants to know how fast they're approaching each other.
The way the crow flies.
So the way how fast they're approaching each other is the distance between them, not their lengths between them. It wants to know the rate at which they're getting closer together. The rate at which they're getting closer together is negative 78 miles per hour, which is higher than most of their
Or if
speeds.
you were to put a point in the middle of each car and draw a line connecting them, it would be a straight line like so. That's their distance.
Like, between you and Alex isn't 2 desks over and 1 desk back. It's the diagonal between
Just
you.
but if I'm going just this way and he's going just that way, why would we?
Then the
make
line
distance
between
this
us
way?
Is your distance apart. It's not like,
They're not traveling there.
it's the distance between you, not the distance you have to travel. Okay. Part B. Now suppose the cars start at the same point, which is what I was getting at, and travel away from each other. At what rate is the distance between them changing 2 hours later? So they're starting at the same point. Car B is still going north. Car A is still going west. what's the distance between them changing at?
A lot.
So, if car A is traveling 50 miles per hour, 2 hours later, how far away is car A?
100 miles.
If car B is traveling 60 miles per hour, 2 hours later, it is?
120 miles.
And the distance between them?
10.8.
Hold on.
Pythagorean theorem.
10, 12, 14, 140.
That's 156.21.
Oh, I was doing the square root of 1012.
It's not like a nice number.
So do you want it as 156 or the square root?
Well, I would probably leave it as the square root of, because I'm a weirdo. So what is it, the square root of?
24400.
How am I supposed to get that without a calculator?
You're not. The numbers wouldn't be that big.
They'd be 10 and 12.
I can use that.
That's what I said, they wouldn't be that big.
They
Really,
just
this
solve
is
it.
all about with 2 zeros. All right, so A, P, A, D, T, plus B, D, V, D, equals C, D, C, D, T.
ADA is in American Dental Association.
So A is the distance away, which is 100. Its speed, which is,
Negative.
no, it's
Positive.
positive because it's going away and the distance is getting further. B, which is 120. Its speed, which is 60, equal to dc dt, because we're going to divide all of this by c, which is the square root of 2440 or 166.
Alright, Des, your calculator solved for us.
I'm guessing
What are you guessing?
132.
No.
78.
So it's going to be between 50 and 120. It's going to be slightly larger than 50 and 60.
Why is it the same?
That's what I said. Oh, we did all that for nothing?
Seriously?
Because their speeds are constant.
The units
Boom.
never changed.
I knew it was going to be 70 the whole time.
Okay. Yeah, alright.
How the heck? Except this one times positive.
Because they're getting,
Further apart.
therefore their rate of change is positive. As they were getting closer together, their rate of change was? Yep. Bum, ba-da-dum, bum.
Got any more of those out?
I'm very proud of my calculator. Formula. Not pretty good.
I have some Smarties, I think.
No.
What's in it for me?
My
Oh, we did
charming
have more.
personality.
I don't know if I can accept that just now.
You teased
That's
me with
mean.
it, so you
All
took
right,
it
an
out,
angler
put it in
fish.
there.
An angler has a fish at the end of its line, which is reeled in at 2 feet per second from a bridge 30 feet above the water. At what speed is the fish moving through the water when the amount of line out is 50? Assume the fish is at the surface of the water. So let's label the picture.
Alright, fishing line 50 feet,
Exactly.
X 40 feet.
Yes.
You know, I was a lot smarter to write fishing line equals 50 feet instead of trying to write 50 feet over the fishing line that now I cannot see it.
It's just stupid. You don't deserve them.
All right, so we have X, Y, and Z.
My
What
turn.
rates of change do we know, and what rate of change are we looking for?
dz dt equals 2. dy dt equals 0.
how you know that's
Because he's not jumping up and down.
zero. What's an angler?
A
A
fish.
fisherman.
It's just a type of fish.
No, the angler is the fisherman.
fisherman.
Like an angler.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my.
I wasn't even paying
They're
attention.
called anglers?
Yes.
Yes.
I never knew that.
You need to get out into the real world. Go touch some grass, Des.
What?
Touch some grass.
Do you like that I used to goldfish for the fish? Like an actual like goldfish cracker?
Yeah, it's like that,
it's not
That
a
one insurance commercial.
Yeah, where he's fishing, he pulls out the goldfish.
The literal
And it
goldfish.
just starts like spitting
now
out coins.
where you goofed up is DZDT needs to be
Negative.
because it's coming
Really?
at you. So it's negative DZDT because it's shrinking the length of line. So what are we looking for?
DXDT.
No, that's a shark. It's going to eat the angler.
It's a Goliath. That's actually a Goliath grouper.
It's a
Does- do you know
All right.
what one of those are?
So again, the height of the fisherman is unchanging because he's sitting on a bridge. So it's like the ladder problem, but instead of being the ladder diagonally, the ladder is straight up and down. So it'd be like if I was, oh gosh, I'm not going to actually do it, but if I was like standing on the stool.
Stand on the desk. That's stationary.
That would
Or,
be
It
better
is.
than
or
a
at least
stool.
the chair.
No.
Blaze will
I-
catch you.
I'm gonna break my elbow. Can't teach tomorrow. Alright, but if you are like standing on top of something, your height's not changing just because you're standing on an object.
He's standing on the boat.
No, it's
on
a
the dock.
bridge. On a bridge.
Like he's standing on the
What
like
is
the-
what is a sond? Ours says is rowed in 2 feet per sond. Is that like a Spanish pond?
I think it's a Spanish word for second.
Does it really say that? Mine doesn't have that
2
typo.
feet per song from a bridge 30 feet above the water.
Well, now my units are going to be all messed up.
Alright, so X is
40.
the XDT is unknown plus Y, which is
30.
DYDT is
0. It doesn't even matter.
so that goes goodbye. And then Z,
50.
DZDT.
-2.
So divide everything by 40.
Negative 2.5 feet per sond.
I'm gonna write that.
I did write it.
Am I gonna stop?
Yes.
Alright, Corey, you better be extra nice to me. This is my last one. My mom didn't give me a bag of 360 for Christmas, so.
Sam's Club Christmas.
Those are the best.
That's
times.
almost one per day. And I leave July 5th, and I'm not going to be home for 6 months.
So you gotta eat a lot.
And you can take the bag with you.
No. I can't take the bag of Jolly Ranchers to basic training.
Could you
Kidding. I'm
imagine?
kidding.
Hey,
I
drill
think you're
sergeant.
allowed to mail you them though, because like when Tom left for like basic,
Send letters.
he but like I sent stuff in the letters.
Yeah, if it's in an envelope, like one Jolly Rancher at a time.
That would
Yeah.
work. I'll probably fit 3.
I sent him
then I
off.
get
I
beat
sent
up
him a
because people
lottery
wanna take
scratch
them.
off and told him to win money.
His small pay wasn't sufficient.
I still know what else to send is Christmas. All right,
I'll be home for Christmas.
he was not, or maybe he was like at the very end, but like.
I come home December 17th.
All right, a water tank. This one's brutal.
Thought we were waiting for this.
The hell is an inverted circular cone? Is that a cone on its point?
Yes.
Yes. Which,
Why didn't it just say and the
how
cone
are
on
you
its point?
how are you gonna put a cone on its point without it falling over?
You gotta put the center of mass directly above the vertex of the cone.
Even so, it comes over.
It's a water tank. It's draining water into a pipe. It's sitting like in a.
If the center of mass is over
I
Like,
know,
it's like
I
sitting
know.
in like one of these things.
I know.
Like it's a water tank. It's got little bars holding it up.
Technically, it's not a true cone because it doesn't come to a point. It's a hollow center for the pipe. Water jumps through the pipe.
Maybe it's not draining out the bottom. Maybe it drains off the side.
well then
No. It
Does
does
the
not
surf-
drain out to the side. That defeats the whole purpose of the cone.
Well, then the surface area is off because we have to account for that small circle in the hole.
A water tank has the shape of an inverted, I just put makeup on there. Inverted circular cone with base radius 2 meters and height 4.
What if I just decided to say no?
I feel like you're doing that.
I'm doing
Why
the
does it have
problem.
those lines?
Well,
Because Corey
maybe
asked how an inverted cone could exist in the
Oh
world.
my gosh.
which it can, as long as the center of mass is directly over the
But
vertex.
technically, as we were going over, this isn't a true cone.
Quit talking about the real world.
Just
the
because
whole
you don't
point.
live in it doesn't mean we don't. This is how we understand things. Just because we're not a robot.
Robot.
Yeah,
Yes.
that makes zero sense.
You're a robot.
Have you seen that commercial?
All right.
The robot.
Delivery for Rob Ott.
Human error.
Its base radius is 2, its height is 4. Water is being pumped into the tank at a rate of 2 meters cubed per minute. So the water level in the tank is rising. So it's filling up with water. So see, it doesn't have to have an opening at the bottom.
Fair enough.
So it's filling up at 2 meters cubed per minute. Find the rate at which the water level is rising
So
when the water
we're
is
solving
3
for
meters deep.
DHDT when H
So the
equals
height.
3.
Exactly. And what's the
excuse me.
relationship between radius and height?
R equals 1/2 H. 2H equals R.
Wait, so why do we even care about 2 and 4?
Because that's how we just got the relationship between them.
Yeah.
Desiree.
So
Oh,
if
wow.
the radius
Jesus.
to height ratio, where the radius is 2 and the height is 4, then at any point in time,
I used to make all my
the
force like
radius to height ratio is always a half.
Let's just take a second.
So
to
in this
realize,
case, since the height is 3, the radius would be 1.5.
who buys a fish tank in the shape of a cone?
Disneyland.
This is a water tank, not a fish tank.
Who buys a water tank in the shape of a cone?
Technically, if you drink water from a water jug, it's in the shape of a cone. Those little white paper cups are cones.
Yeah.
And if you
No,
fill
they're not. They
those
don't
white
fit-
paper
they're
cups
not
up
a
with water,
cone.
Yeah, they are.
yes, they
Oh.
are.
You're talking about the ones where you pull out.
They're actually an inverted cone with a base
Filled
of,
with water!
but it's not a water,
Precisely.
but it's
But it's on a water tank.
well, I mean, technically, it is a
Water.
water holder.
Exactly. It's just at a smaller scale.
Well, I would prefer to
Poor
say
Blaze. Blaze is so mad right now.
I'm just.
I'd prefer this to say a paper
There.
cup that comes out of a water dispensing machine that is an inverted cone.
Well, then good.
Then
You'll
I-
be happy for the question on your test.
Then I'd be more satisfied with the
Hint,
problem.
hint. Hint, hint.
So there's an inverted cone paper cup on our test.
Maybe.
Okay.
You haven't even made the test yet.
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's not good. It's never good when they're pre-made.
It's better when they're pre-made, so we don't get one like crazy. No one ever knows.
No,
If
because
water-
when she makes them the day before, then she knows what we don't know and doesn't put it on.
He's all wrong. Sometimes I'm nicer when I make them the day before. Because it's more to you than
Shut up,
to
Des. You're gonna get an A anyways.
All right, volume.
No, she was
4/3
bottom of the
pi
totem pole,
r
yeah.
cubed.
Out of the whole 5 of you.
She got some ground to make up.
Yeah, she was last by 1 point. Blaze beat her.
We have the same school.
No, Blaze beat you by 1 point.
No, we have.
Volume equals 1/3 pi r squared h. Which variable are we looking for and which variable are we substituting
We're looking
out?
for
That
H,
would
so
give
we're
us this formula,
substituting out R because we want DHDT.
Exactly. We want DHDT, so we're getting rid of r.
So it'd be pi 1/2
H.
h squared h.
So it'd be 1/4 pi H cubed
1/12.
over 3, which would then be pi H cubed over 12.
And then we
So
take the derivative.
dVdt
1/4. No. Yes, 1/4 pi h squared.
And is it filling up or draining out?
Filling up.
So dv dt is
Positive.
h is
3.
we're looking for
Should be 9.
dh dt. So you have 9 pi over 4. So you flip it to get it to the other side. So it'd be 4 times 2, which is 8
Over 9 pi.
over 9 pi
8 9.
meters per minute.
Now,
Where'd you get
Can
the
I-
1/2 from? Or the 1/12?
1/3 times 1/4. Because it's a half times a half. Because it's 1/2 squared.
1/2 squared would be
1/4. Because it's 1 squared over 2 squared, which is 1 over.
what if I wrote that?
oh, it'd be
Answer.
1/4 h squared. And then 1/4.
What if I wrote that answer at the bottom as 8/9 pi?
Wrong.
9 pi is a part of the
The
denominator.
pi is in the denominator, not
The
the
function.
numerator.
Because when you divide over, you're dividing over 9 pi.
8 divided by 9 times pi, not 8/9 times pi. That would be the equivalent of 8 pi over 9, which these are not the same. Because think about 8 divided by 9 times 3 would be like 8 over 27-ish versus,
Yeah, no,
8.
I got it.
Yeah.
Alright, now I feel like we should. Seriously, what are we gonna do in 6 minutes?
we don't have
any more
examples. Oh, we do have a few more examples.
By the time you give us our homework. I
We
know
don't start working
Alright.
on it
So, homework numbers.
in that packet, I assume.
Yeah, in that packet, you assume.
Can you text them in Teams again?
Yes.
Even though I messed up the last text in Teams. Okay, but that wasn't my fault.
So
When
we've
I-
done 1, 2,
When I
3.
wrote it down, does that not look like a 9 instead of a 4?
Yeah, it's like on the middle of like.
That's just my poor handwriting. Nothing you can do about that.
Oh, there is. Get better handwriting.
Corey says you.
So let's do
And who's the one
4,
that put their own handwriting?
Both of us.
7,
Alright, that's it, right?
10.
That's it.
Even.
4, 7, 10.
No, 4, 7, 10 odd. 4, 7, 10 decimal points.
Yes. Non-integers.
Yeah.
We're such nerds.
4, 7, 10 imaginary numbers.
15, 16, 17.
Oh.
15, 16,
and
and
so
17.
good. We were doing so good.
4, 7,